Hi, it's Roger here with episode 21 of Entrepreneur TV, and this is our Q&A and prize video. So if you were watching last week, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for commenting. Loads of comments. If you go look at the video here, you'll see all the comments, and everyone who commented were put into the prize draw. This episode, I'll be sharing who won the 12-month live mastermind with myself and our awesome group of entrepreneurs from all around the world, where we're sharing our journey as we go. This is going to be one of the people, by the way, whose questions I'm going to be asking during this video. So listen in for the Q&A, and then as we get closer to the end of the video, I'll share who it is who won. And if for any reason you did not win, then have no fear, because in the next episode, where we also have lots of questions, given there were so many that were asked, what I'm going to be doing is showing you still simple, easy ways you can get involved and be part of what we're launching this month with our mastermind. Now, first of all, let's start with the questions, because we have some awesome questions from all around the world. And I'm going to just go for some quick fire Q&A, see how many I can get through in this episode. I'm going to start with Luke Skelton. Congratulations on 250 days, 250,000 views, Roger. I've been subscribing to Entrepreneur TV and really enjoyed watching your videos. So a massive thank you for contributing to my business and personal development. Thank you, Luke. Always massively educational, inspiring. And one question I'd like to ask is, how do you best go about pitching your product or service to a new investor? Okay, well, first thing I'd say is most people pitch too early, meaning when they've got the idea, before they've proven the concept, they're already out looking for funding. Now we live in a world where you don't need that anymore. If you haven't yet sold any of your product, you think you've got a great idea, go to friends and family and get pre-orders straight away. You can pitch, and here's one of the best ways to see how to pitch to people that are willing to pre-order your product using crowdfunding, right? So whether you go to something like Indiegogo, whether you go to something like Kickstarter, and in fact, one of the best ways to see how to pitch is to watch the ones that are getting the most funding. Watch the video, because every video always is going through the same steps in the pitch, and also see how they go about writing to make it an irresistible offer that you want to be a part of, right? If you're at the next stage where it's like you've done that, the product's going, the business is growing, then you might want to go for what is a very new thing, which is equity crowdfunding. So whether you go for something like Crowdcube, which is the biggest in the UK, or something like Crowdfunder, which is the biggest in the US, these are new sites that are now raising millions for businesses where they're saying, here's our concept, here's where we got to so far. So you're not going to pre-order a product, you're actually going in to buy equity in the business. And if you're past that stage and you've gone through your seed funding, then the best thing to do is to get onto something like angel.co, which is the biggest angel and startup ecosystem in the world. It's an amazing community. You can go on as an investor, you can go on as a company, and there you'll find like-minded people who already are sophisticated investors, who already have been qualified to be able to invest in your business as well. And then how do you do it? What we do is we do the same thing that you're going to find all through Silicon Valley, which is put a 12-slide deck together. And this is something you can see the format of it. If you go to The Art of the Start, which is the book by Guy Kiyosaki, you can read that book and just see how you can put together what now pretty much within the angel and also venture capital community they expect you to have as in the simplest form possible if you want to go and promote your business to them. Now, by the way, like I said, do it at the right level. Don't go out and try and pitch before it's too early. So take the right step that's appropriate for you. Okay, secondly, William Cooper. Hi, Roger. Just like say your presentation in South Africa was inspirational. Okay, so William obviously came to saw me in South Africa. My question is, how would a company hire of scaffolding equipment? Interesting. Go from being unknown to being recognized as one of the leaders in the market. I've begun creating banners and got a few people I supply ready to agree to hang my company name on my scaffolding just to get the company name out there. William, I would say this, and this is the same for anyone who has a business where there aren't a lot of differentiators in the market and where the problem itself, the product itself creates a problem. I mean, think about it, like scaffolding. You know, it's like, what's the thing that most people say about scaffolding? It's ugly. So you can either go down one route, which is try and compete on price, which is not a good way to compete nowadays because scaffolding costs money and the install costs money. Or you go for something which is now not price-based but premium-based, which means you're going to charge more, not less. And the way that you can do that is by charging more than one person. So the customer still ends up paying less, but you're making money from other things as well. So for example, you could take the scaffolding and say, well, is there a way for me to solve the problem that people walking by the scaffolding would have, which is that it's beautiful instead of it being ugly? That there are people who would much rather have my scaffolding than others. Could you go to some of your local artists or schools and actually say, right, when we put our scaffolding up, we have the most beautiful scaffolding in town. We will actually do installs of like amazing, like, you know, wall art or, you know, fabric art, which is going to come from the schools, or it's going to come from these artists, where they're then wanting to do that because they're going to be giving you their beautiful art in a way that it gets out in front of everyone. Could you go and find a couple of sponsors who are willing to sponsor local artists? And they might be companies that want to have their logos not just kind of like blazoned over things so no one wants just ads on their own, but actually showing their sponsors of this initiative and make it into a community initiative. So that at the end of the day, with the money that's coming in from the sponsorship, from the people who are giving, you know, the art, from the people that might even come in and basically then connect up with those artists, or from the exhibitions you can put around it as well, that from all of that happens and the support you get, it actually costs less for someone to have beautiful scaffolding than for them to have ugly scaffolding. So this is about innovation and knowing that all value comes from either creativity, which is like dynamo genius, is like something new and different, or timing, which is you just happen to come up with the right technology at the right time. And if you don't have that right now, innovation is always the best way. Right, so that's just a couple of thoughts. The most important thing is it isn't about trying to leverage what you have before you've made it so compelling that people just want it anyway. The worst thing is having a product that no one's buying and then going out spending money in marketing, and you just end up with more people seeing it and still not buying it. Okay, third question we have, Marie Pigeon. Hi Roger, I'm a creator profile and I've been running my own sewing school for over 36 years. It's been absolutely wonderful doing what I love, which is teaching other women how to sew. I would love to win your scholarship and join your mastermind group. Thank you for sharing your videos. My question is, what are your top tips on how I could get more traffic to my online sewing store? Okay, all right. So this is from Marie. Oh, and she says, P.S. I'm also very excited to be nominated for the Australian Trust Awards via your partner. So if you haven't seen the Trust Awards, go look at this link which is down here, because that is something which got launched by Michelle, my partner in Talent Dynamics, about a month ago in Australia. It's had over 200 nominations already for companies that are looking to, companies that have been voted in by their customers or their employees and are themselves looking to evolve and grow trust and become part of the trust movement. I'm currently in #1 spot for the best educational business. Okay, awesome, Marie. So you're going in the right direction. People obviously like you. How do you build more traffic? You know, there was a time probably maybe 5 years ago when I would say to you, it's all about content marketing, because 5 years ago, it was still, there wasn't so much noise. You could still go out there, and whether, you know, you're actually being smart about how you're putting out blogs and putting out information, people would then find you. We're overwhelmed with information today, so content marketing is not the way to go anymore. Doesn't mean that there aren't still some things like Facebook advertising or even some Google ads which still do work, but it's diminishing returns. They don't get the same returns they used to, and they tend to be more expensive. So what we tend to focus at whenever I'm mentoring anyone is not content marketing, but engagement marketing. And that's not how much are you creating, it's how much are your customers creating. It's not how much are you doing, it's how much are your customers doing. So for example, you could run, instead of advertising for your sewing school, you could run a competition for the most awesome sewing creations, right? You could actually have something where you would actually have a competition. I mean, you saw my competition last week and how many comments there were just from having something which actually allows others to, and they wrote a lot more than I'd be able to write if I was there spending every day writing. But if you were to actually have something like that, a competition which was to all your best customers, a competition which was to them to share with their friends, with their sewing circles. You could have it so there's a prize for the very best like individual creative design. You could use a Facebook contest to do it. You could even put it up there and tell people if they can get votes, then that would be awesome too. So others then will hear about it as well. And people who love sewing tend to know other people who love sewing. You might do it so it's not just you know, a prize for whoever is the individual. You might have it for age categories. You might have it for groups, circles that come together, or even regions. But by doing this in this way, what you're doing is you're getting everyone engaged, you're getting them to share instead of you being the one who has to share. And you'll find that just by going through that process and building that community around that, you're going to have many, many more people getting engaged with you and what you do. And of course, then they're going to be more interested in hearing what it is that you're providing, especially if one of the things that you actually provide for them as part of the prize is, just like I have with my mastermind, where I'm sure there'll be some people watching this who would like to join my mastermind at some point. There'll be people who'd want to join your school if you had a course that you were providing for free, especially if it was online. Okay, so that's Marie. I hope that helped, Marie. And good luck in the competition on Talent Dynamics Trust Awards. By the way, if you're wondering where I am outdoors at the moment, so it's kind of a little bit hot here because I'm in Bali This is our resort here at the moment. I found a little quiet spot, which is where I'm doing this at the moment. Here we have Jason Chen. Thanks, Roger, for all your work and free content. I've been telling my friends about wealth dynamics and wealth spectrum. I'm Jason from Australia. Hi, Jason. Question. Retail businesses like liquor stores are different to other businesses in that it's harder to multiply sales because it's limited by the number of people in the area. Or at least that is what my father says, who has a lot of liquor store owner experience. Okay, he's a Lord Conductor. Could he be wrong? My creative friend, also, who's also a conductor, says it's very possible to increase by 5 to 6 times, even for retail businesses. Okay, so let me, rather than tell you whether your father's right or wrong, let me just give you an example of an actual real life story. And this is someone whose channel I definitely think you should watch, because I watch it, I think it's great. His name is Gary Vaynerchuk. He's based in Australia. Australia is based in America, and his focus is all around marketing. Is all around. He's got a company called VaynerMedia, and everything he does is focusing at social media. Is focusing at kind of the future of where marketing is going, mobile, video, so on. However, he didn't start that way. He started by taking over his father's liquor store. And at that point, his father's liquor store was called Shoppers Discount Liquors, and it was based in New Jersey, and it was doing about $3 million a year. And he took it over, and within a period of, like, I think it was about 3 to 5 years, what he did was, he says, I'm not going to use geography as a reason that I can't grow this store. Because his father thought pretty much the same your father thinks. So what did he do? He set up a TV show, which he actually put onto YouTube. He changed the name of the store to Wine Library. His TV show was him tasting different wines. He got a following which grew. He promoted that following, and as it grew, more and more people wanted to buy his wines from his store as well. So he ended up basically shipping out from that store. And basically within that period, he went from $3 million to $50 million in revenue. That's not a 5 or 6 times growth. That's more than a 10 times growth. So what I want to do is to tell you there's always a way to leverage by using all the tools that are out there, but you've got to leverage in a way which is natural to you, right? And you can go watch his program, see what he does now, and he's now evolved and grown into other things that he's doing, but his family still owns that wine library store. All right, next I'm going to come to Stess Grant. Stess, g'day, Roger, Stephen from Melbourne here. I've been following all your videos, great stuff, awesome. Question, you've always said ask a better question. What are the steps to follow in identifying or formulating a better question? How cool is that? A question on how to ask better questions. Okay, so Stess, let me say this. Most people are asking the wrong questions. In fact, even what I've just been sharing, which are a lot of pretty specific examples where someone says, okay, in my business where this is happening, is this possible, is that possible? Many people will be listening to that and think, I wonder if that's relevant to me, right? I wonder if this is going to help me. Those are not necessarily the right questions. So all questions can fit into 3 different parts, right? And I'm going to go through what these 3 are, because there's one which is the kind of questions you should be asking. Okay, the first kind of questions are aspirational questions. So aspirational questions are questions where someone says something like, what if this is possible, right? It's like, imagine a life of this, like what would it take to make that happen? Like, you know, it's those kind of questions that you hear in brainstorming sessions, or if you go to an inspirational seminar where it's like, you know, imagine anything was possible, what would you do, right? And of course, those questions are fine provided you have context. Context meaning you can ask that question when you've got a business that's successful in a market, but if you're starting with nothing or you haven't yet figured out what you want to do, those questions can be really difficult to answer. In fact, they can leave you more confused than when you got started. And I'm sure you've had that experience. I know I have. When I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, those questions weren't actually helping me at that point. Now, there's a second kind of question. The second kind of question are the ones that a lot of people ask themselves all the time, which is not an aspirational question. It's an exasperational question. Okay, it's the opposite. So an exasperational question, which is when you say things like, how can I figure out what I should do next? Or it's when you go to someone and you say, what do you actually want to buy from me? Or you go to someone else and you say, can I have your money? They're exasperational questions because they create exasperation, not just for you, but for the other person as well, because they can't answer that question very easily. And now some of us actually get worse. We actually go from exasperational questions where we feel bad even asking them because we don't know the answer. And we ask ourselves the question like, what should I do next? I don't know. To then exasperational non-questions, where it's not even a question anymore. It's just like, I don't know what to do. It's not even a question. It stops the question from being asked. Or, even worse, a qualified exasperational non-question, which means you say, I don't know what to do because I have no money, right? Or I don't know what to do because I'm not so smart, right? Whatever it is, you're now qualifying why you can't even ask the question. You get what I mean. So what's the third type of question? The third type of question is when you take these first two, which is contextual and divergent, which means it's kind of like you've got a context and it's a useful question because you're thinking about more options, to non-contextual and divergent, which means you've got more options but you're not even starting from a place, to the third one, which is convergent, which means no matter how many options you have, it always brings you in. And these are called directional questions. So a directional question is what actually it's a little bit like what Jason just asked, where he says, my father thinks this, my friend thinks this, what do you think? Because I can answer that question. I can't answer the question if he says, I'm not going to tell you what my business is, but tell me how to be successful. That's an exasperational question neither of us can answer. But by him actually turning it into a multiple choice, and there's a reason multiple choices only ever have 3 things and often have 2 things, because if you have more than that, it becomes exasperating. So say, okay, so I've got these 3 ideas of products right now. Which one would be most valuable to you? I've got an idea for a business. I could do this one or I could do that one. Which one do you think I should do based on what you know about me? You can see how those questions are directional. They allow someone to actually give you an opinion. They allow you to then evolve your own thinking and then ask an even more directional question. And before you know it, you get to an answer, right? So that's one thing I want to share with you. It's one of the most important things. Catch yourself when you start asking exasperational questions and switch them into directional questions, which is all about context, but convergent, which means you're going to go down to lesser options as opposed to more. Hope that was helpful. Paul Rancourt, congratulations, Roger. I've been following your videos and your book for a while now as I'm going through my transitional phase, leaving the corporate world. Well, okay, this is good. Leaving the corporate world and seeking to start the next phase of my entrepreneurial life. My question is about promotions. Is there a threshold of total cost as based against the primary product you're offering? Okay, this is quite a technical question here. It's like, how do you split up percentages? If you're trying to sell a product that costs X, should the promotion be of a certain percentage value of X, 5, 10%, 10, 20%? See how that's a pretty directional question, right? I would go even more directional and say it all depends on your market. Whenever I go look at a new market, like the event market is different from the travel market. When we started up having events here, we had to say, are we going to go with the model and percentages that are in the travel market for resorts, or when we go do marketing, or we're going to go for the model of the event market? Because the event market, people will pay 20, 30%. Travel, they might only pay 5 or 10%. So you've got to decide what kind of a business you are and what market you're in, and then from there, by setting percentages that are going to work not just for you, but also for your partners, you then can set something which you can then remain solid on. So for example, with all of our educational products, we will always break it up to have 20%. I know a lot of people in America do 50%. My personal feeling is that is not a sustainable model, because why would anyone go and pay 50% just to someone who has you on their database when they're actually then only getting the other 50% going to whoever's actually delivering the product? That doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't think it's sustainable. 20% is sustainable, 20% is marketing. Now, we will either say, if 20% is marketing and we want to make another $1,000 here, is it easier for us to go find someone who would be willing to make the 200, the 20%, and we find an affiliate and a partner? Or is it easier for us to go and test on Facebook advertising or Google AdWords and see if we can get a 20% return on that? So every $20 makes $100. Are we better off getting someone on the phone and make phone calls? Are we better off? So we will track different ways, but we'll always know we have that 20% put aside, right? We'll have 10%, which is just sales. So it means that someone might give us someone that they think is interested in doing something, and we'll have our own sales team. Or it might be someone says, look, I'm going to bring a sale to you, and then we'll give them all the whole 30%. So by breaking that up, if you don't break this up, by the way, you have to do all the marketing and sales yourself, right? But the moment you break it up, you can now share that with others. And that's when you start moving from yellow level, which is when you say, how do I make money, to green level, which is where you say, how can I help other people make money? And we also have a delivery percentage, which is in there. And we also have a brand percentage. And I'm not going to go into all that right now, but just know that every market's different. And we didn't make those up. We went and looked at what's working best in the market with the sustainable and successful companies. And then we took it from there. Hope that's helpful. Celeste Perez, Dominican Republic. Hi, Roger. I'm Celeste Perez, National Director for the Passion Test programs in Latin America. Okay, that's great. So if you haven't taken the Passion Test, you can go follow this link. It's free. That's what we put together with Janet and Chris Atwood, who are the founders of the Passion Test. And Celeste is working with the Passion Test as the National Director here. I would love to win the scholarship to learn how to massively grow the Passion Test and your program in Latin America. Also, how to fill the Passion Test course in the Dominican Republic, coming up September 3rd to 6th, 2015. Now you know when it is. Love and light, Celeste. So this is a really interesting one, because many of you might be running events or having programs where you're looking to have people come your way. So I'll say 2 things. The first thing I'll say is it's easier to run a global business than a local business today, which means we have a resort in Bali, but very few of the people that come to the resort as our customers are in Bali. They're from overseas. So you're, I'm sure, already thinking, well, Dominican Republic will have people from around Latin America who come into Dominican Republic. But look, the DR is an awesome place. There are people I know that are out here in Asia, in Australia, that will make the trip to go out there. So the real question is not how do you compete with other programs happening in Latin America? The real question is how do you compete with programs happening all over the world? How could you make this such an awesome thing? And by the way, one of the programs I'm going to this year, which I'll be speaking at, which is the Croatia Awesomeness Fest, some of you might know about that. That's Vishen's company. Vishen runs Mind Valley, and he's got an amazing team that runs Awesomeness Fest. Why would I travel out to Croatia for that? It was because of the quality of what he's putting on and the fact that it's already designed for a global audience. So how could you set up, just by changing your marketing material and what you're going to do in the day, change it so that it appeals to a global audience that want to come and spend time in the Dominican Republic? How do you do that in such a way that you have all the extra bits and pieces on board so that people then really want to be a part of that as well? That's one thing I'll share. Then the second one is how do you make sure you get yourself partners, just like I just shared earlier. And again, ask directional questions. Who would be the most likely partners that I would want to work with to make that happen? And if you're interested, connect with us because we love the passion test. And in terms of creating a partnership in some sort where we can send some people out, there's always a way, all right? So that's what I'd share. Always make sure. Now, there's another aspect, which I won't go into at this point, which is knowing that having an event which is going to be full is like a third gear strategy, right? First gear strategy is how do people get engaged with free content and information that's useful to them? Number two, how do they get connected in such a way that they're having an experience with others through a community, even if it's in their local area or even if it's something online, before they're going to say, right, I'm now willing to invest not just money but time to actually physically go to another part of the world. You need that level of trust being built before you're going to find people willing to do that too. So that third three gear strategy is really important. Okay, we're just going to take a couple more questions here. We have Marcelo Perez from Nashville. Marcelo has a question here. Thank you, Roger, for the awesome material. Thank you for all your good, awesome comments, everyone, by the way. It really does make a difference. And you know I do this for free, but at the same time, you know that it's not really for free because I get all of this feedback coming from everyone. So from that point of view, you're paying me with your time, right? You're paying me with your attention, and that I really appreciate. So thanks for all the really awesome things everyone's saying here. Enjoy learning visually from your videos and amazing drawings. Cool. I'm a dynamo still searching to develop my full potential. My biggest challenge, it's my dog by the way, my biggest challenge is to balance my Clark Kent with my Superman time. During the workday, I create new electrical product offers for a corporation, okay, electrical products. At night, I create products on my own. So this is about Clark Kent Superman time. He's got the two going. Early in my career, I tried living on my own products, but did not work out. As you put it, I was waiting for the taxi in the middle of the football field. And there's a video which is all about that, which is not, don't go and try create the product which is your best idea and then spend your time trying to get people to buy what you're trying to sell. Instead, understand what people really want to buy, and then once you know what it is that they want to buy, then from that place, sell them what they want to buy. It's a whole lot easier and people will thank you for it. I'm quite clear on my passions, purpose, talents, and what I want. Just need to find the right team and the right wind. I'm passionate about physical products, right? We said that. Technology, fine woodwork, boat maintenance. My invention so far requires significant capital investment. Okay, so everything you're saying here is all about your products. And just as I just shared a moment ago, it's about your market. So who do you really want to work with? As opposed to how do I get the product out there? And by the way, you could try, going out to Kickstarter or Indiegogo to see if people are interested. But unless you've got your own market you're bringing towards that campaign as well, it's still going to be difficult, right? So here's what I would suggest for anyone who's still stuck thinking, but I love my product. Because remember, you can come back to the product later once you've connected with the market. You'll probably find they want something a little bit different to you. Let me give you the Beatles strategy. This is what we teach as the simplest, easiest way to get started. The Beatles, who are one of the greatest bands of all time, did not start by just going out with their own songs to say, guys, listen to our songs. They didn't do that. What happened to start with is they did covers. They went into little pubs and they were singing other people's songs. I mean, even the word Beatles came from their tributes to Buddy Holly, right? So the whole thing was about, okay, how do we sing other people's songs so people will come listen to other people's songs? So for example, if you're in fitness and you don't have partnerships with the best guys in fitness or the best guys in health, and you're already selling their products to your community, then it means that there's no way you're going to sell your own. I mean, you can't sell the best in the world. How could you possibly sell your own, right? But you can sell those and people want them. Well, then you start attracting more. So you start with the covers, play the covers, right? That's step number one. Once you're playing the covers and everyone's showing up and they go, wow, these guys are really talented, right? That's when you then do the second thing, which is be the opening act, right? Like bands will become the opening act where they're still getting lots of people. They're now able to play their own music. You can now say, hey, here's some of my products, my solutions, but you're doing it with others as well. You know, when we were in last year, when I launched my book, this is what I did. I worked together with others who were already in the market. I said, how can I be of value to them, sharing what they're doing? I became part of Hay House's summit that they had, which was being attracted lots of people in. So then people heard about me, and I also attracted my network in to hear about them. Right, so this is all starting by actually being able to, after you started playing covers and shared from the point of view of connecting with community, then you've gone and become opening act. And by the way, Beatles did this as well, right? They were Tony Sheridan's backing band, right? So they basically were showing up, and they were the ones that were there, kind of like playing the music while he was singing. Then finally, you then become main stage. Right? Their first album got recorded 5 years after they started. Right? So don't think, and it's not like they weren't making money on all 5 years. They were making money, but they were making money going through those free stage levels, play covers, which means that you're actually out there marketing other people's solutions, which already are better than yours, or really better known. Then number two, become the opening act, which means you're associating with them, but now with your own products. And then number three, have your own products, and now you're at that third level, right? Many successful people in every industry have done it that way. Okay, so we are running out of time. I am going to finish here with a final one. And this is coming from Rock Savant. This video series has been awesome so far. Congrats on the success. Would love to join the mastermind. So here's a question for doubling the luck. What do you feel you and your enterprise requires to advance to your next level? What do you see that next level as? So everything within the Millionaire Master Plan is about stepping up to that next level. And right now I'm at blue level, which is conductor, which means that the teams run and do their thing. I will have time then to do other things like this video series. I do things that I love to do as opposed to because I need to do them. However, that gives you fulfillment to a certain level. And the next level up from blue level is indigo level. So for me, this is a huge area, which is how can you go out and make an impact in the world? And frankly, that's kind of what we're doing here. It's why I set up this video series, was because you can make the money, you can be successful, but that doesn't mean you're going to have the impact that you would have if you put yourself back out there again. So I really hope that I am having this impact on you, because the next step for what we do within Entrepreneurs Institute is to make sure we build that impact. You're going to see this in the coming videos. I'll be in Perth, Australia, I'll be in Brisbane, and then I'll be flying over to Necker Island, where we have an amazing group of entrepreneurs that are going to be meeting up, invited by Richard Branson for the week to be there on Necker. And we have some very special things happening there, where we're actually looking at the future of entrepreneurship and how, as different entrepreneur networks, we can all connect together. So we'll be meeting with many people who have amazing networks out there who are looking for smarter solutions to the future of entrepreneurship and our empowerment of not just ourselves, but others as well. So I really hope you keep tuning in. Like I said, we have to tell you who is the winner from the lucky draw. So let me tell you, congratulations to Marie Pigeon. If you are thinking which one was Marie Pigeon, she was the one who has for 36 years had her sewing school. So congratulations. Drop me a note. You can either drop me a note in terms of a comment on YouTube. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Give me a way to contact you, and we'll get the team to connect up with you either by phone or by email. And congratulations to you. And for everyone else, tune in for the next episode, where I'll tell you what steps you can take to also be part of all the magic we're going to be creating. And until the next video, I hope this has been really super useful for you. Do add extra comments and questions if you'd like to, because we're going to have another Q&A coming up. And I look forward to hearing your story and your successes in the coming weeks and months as well.